a symbol of how to transform, transmute our base self, our instincts, our defects, into gold, into the qualities, the virtues, the strengths of the human potential. That's, of course, a symbolic way of understanding it, which was much more appealing to Jung from a psychological point of view in the work that he was doing, which is largely based on transformation. This, though, in alchemy is rooted in the earliest understanding of the symbolic nature of matter, earth, water, air, and fire, and all of the different permutations of working with these elements, how to work with them together to ultimately transform, yes, lead into gold, but ultimately any substance into any other substance. That was really the work that they were doing. Was this ever historically possible? Perhaps. I mean, we don't know for sure. What's interesting is that today there's modern scientific experimentation with lead in particle accelerators where they've been able to transform it into gold. So it's possible. Now, of course, doing it this way with particle accelerators is so expensive that the gold is worthless. And it's also radioactive. So it's not the most practical way of doing it. But it shows that chemically it's possible. Obviously, the methodology would have been different in ancient Egypt and in ancient medieval times, but perhaps the alchemical process is something that we've lost and they were able to do something akin to that then. Who knows? What they describe in the writings, though, which is interesting, is that the success of the process from a material point of view depended on the inner state of the alchemist. And again, this is what Jung was more interested in. The external result is secondary. The work is the internal work. Because in alchemy, the objective was not an external transformation, it was an internal one. The external reality would become a result of the inner work. And this already to me is quite an interesting perspective shift from the way we often look at things today. We're very driven by the external element in a very utilitarian, very functional way of how to do things, how to get it done technically. And okay, technically we need to understand how to do things, but if we don't understand what the internal objective is, if there isn't a moral dimension, a moral objective in what we're doing, then the technical aspect is relative. And we can see that in a lot of scientific endeavor. You know, we can do a lot of things, but should we? There's a moral question that we're not always asking when we look into exploring the scientific realm. So alchemy was much more of a moral practice than just a scientific one. Through the medieval period and in the Renaissance, there was excessive writing on alchemy as it made a kind of a resurgence. And these texts, which were most prominent in the 16th and 17th century, these Jung started to just devour. Because for the next 10 years then, he started to see all of the links and connections in these ideas with his own, as he started to build his own psychology. What he found, which was intriguing as well, is that as he worked with clients, he saw alchemical imagery emerging in the dreams and in the visualization exercises of clients. So this symbolic dimension of transformation, as he was learning through alchemy, was something that seemed to have a resonance unconsciously in a lot of people. Because ultimately that process of transformation, transmutation, seems to be a natural endeavor of evolution. It's a process that we're all going through. We're constantly going through transformation, transform to change the form, to change the way that we do things. And so behaviorally, psychologically, ethically, we're seeking to transform ourselves from lead into gold to a better state of being, to become better individuals. And that, for Jung, became the basis of understanding individuation as the ultimate objective of his psychology. That the individual is capable of expanding consciousness in order to integrate themselves entirely, a more total, a more global state of consciousness.